for better, for worse. Difficult one, this one. It's a split. When you feel that you're split between what you feel you want to do and what you feel you need to do for your family, you feel embarrassed, disappointed, you're fearful of not being able to talk to even your family because you're disappointed in making that decision that might actually upset them as well. So this gentleman came to me regarding him never, always feeling split at work, split at home, split with his family, because he really wanted to go away on holiday but didn't want to tell them he got flight anxiety since COVID. This is happening a lot, people. So as an ex-flight supervisor and as an teaching for 13 years as well, I get these scenarios they automatically went into. So the first one was where he was playing football, very, very young, and he had to flip the coin. And again, there's that flick, for better, for worse, heads or tails. And he chose the wrong end and they lost the match. What I mean by they chose the wrong end, the end that he chose, unbeknownst to him, was in the darker area on the second half, the lighter area in the first half. He believes in his mind, and it's only a belief, a repetitive thinking, a habit of thought during that match. He believes that he would have won that match if they'd have been in the light end rather than the dark end in the second half, okay? That's just his belief, okay? The next scenario we automatically went back to was when he was in football trials, but he got no further and he was disappointed. He didn't feel good enough. There were better players there, but there were worse players there. Again, better for worse, split, not feeling good enough, inner critic again on his shoulder because he got no further, and he feels like he can get no further because of this split feeling that he always feels all the time as well. And then the third scenario was an actual football team, quite a well-known one, for better, for worse. He got no further in his career because of an injury, and therefore he had to stand down. And unfortunately for too long, where he lost out on his place on the football team, and for better, for worse, because of injury, for better, for worse, again, not feeling good enough, feeling disappointed, feeling embarrassed, all the same feelings. So he's actually come to me because of my fear of flying, fasten your seatbelt videos that I've been doing. Yes, okay, so he's feeling like he can't go on holiday because he's in a split decision, for better, for worse. So I don't feel safe on an aircraft anymore because we haven't been able to fly for 3 years during COVID. So I get it completely, but he doesn't understand because he's done a course, he's read the books, he's even gone on a holiday and sat there gripping the seat, gripping his seatbelt on, and it still hasn't worked for him. So he's reached out to me as an ex-flight supervisor who flew during 9/11 era from 1996 to 2009 when my first husband passed away. That took my flying career and grounded it for me. So it took my joy away. So this is why I do this. I'm giving you your joy by helping you to fly, because I really miss flying. I really, really do. So he always got this expectation of letting other people down, and he felt like he was letting his own family down because nobody had ever helped him understand, as a competitive football player, understand disappointment. Now, nobody gives us those emotional coping, resilient skills at school. Or parents don't give it to us, or caretakers don't give it. There's lots of people around us who possibly could, and for some people they feel like they were never given them. He felt like this split decision that he'd always felt, for better, for worse, that was actually pulling him back, dragging him down, and he didn't know how to overcome this, and really didn't want to tell his family that he didn't want to go on holiday that had already been booked, okay? So we use different tools and techniques in the conversational hypnotherapy that I do. So I watch for subconscious movements, and he kicked a lot. He naturally would for a footballer. I'm kicking my leg at that point. He kicked a lot, and obviously as a footballer I would notice that. I don't take my eyes off you, because those little subconscious, unconscious moments that you present to me are meaningful for you. It's your subconscious mind in the background kind of saying, oh, this means something right now. It's a bit like saying yes, a bit like saying no. We automatically do the movement to the word, okay? So we decided, for better for worse, was that the way to carry on? He wanted to get on that plane, and it was holding him back, pulling him back, dragging him down. So he came up with a great technique to screw it up like a piece of paper and throw it away. Flick it away as though flicking it off and flicking it into the bin. I thought that was brilliant, by the way. So again, my techniques do not matter. You come up with your own techniques in my therapy. So he wanted a positive voice instead of a negative voice, this critic that he constantly got all the time. So again, he came up with another technique of, a bit like Genie in the lamp, a bit like Aladdin, the cartoon character. He'd rub the lamp, and his crowd around him when the genie come out will be a supportive crowd rather than the crowd that always diminished him, because he felt this split behaviour, for better for worse, feeling not good enough, feeling he's going to disappoint people at his present work, which is nothing to do with football. So he felt this in his workplace as well. So this is actually expanding to all areas of his work, and he felt it in his heart and his head, funny enough. But at heart and head, obviously, when he was a kid, football, like a lot of children, I've been around primary school children for 13 years, like a lot of children, that they dream of being the next footballer, you know, next David Beckham, etc. And they can't understand why it's not happening for them, that they're in for disappointment, that's how they feel. They don't realise that if they had the coping skills and the emotional resilience to understand that you shouldn't be disappointed, it might just not be the path for you, then they might feel differently about how a match may end, if that makes sense. So he also had a shamed and guilt feeling, because he felt ashamed to tell his wife, and embarrassed, and was feeling guilty if they were to cancel the holiday. Well, that wasn't going to happen. Once he's sitting in my seat, fastening his seatbelt, that is not going to happen. He's going to get on that plane, and he's going to do it without the use of pills and alcohol as well. So alcohol is not a problem, and we're not going to pop the pills either. So he felt ashamed, because he thought he might go down that route. He said, what if I drink too much and then I can't actually get on? I'm going to feel terrible guilt. And again, that'll increase my feeling good enough. Well, because he'd been through a football career, we exchanged those feelings for better feelings, because the mind cannot hold conflicting thoughts. One will cancel the other out. So I asked him for the antonym, the opposite of ashamed. He came up with the word proud. I asked him for the opposite of guilt. He came up with open and honest. I asked him for the opposite of not good enough, do my best. And then I asked him how he could get rid of the negative feelings to gain the positive feelings. He came up with the technique again of kicking a football with the words on, kicking the football away with the negative words on, and receiving the football back, being a goalie, capturing the ball and holding on to it. So he felt good enough. So he could change the way he felt. The next thing that we went through, this was just such an incredible session today, is he also said that he felt like he shouldn't have lost. He shouldn't have lost back in the day, in the first scenario, the first football match, in the second scenario at the trials, and also when he lost that due to injury. He felt like he shouldn't have done that, and that it wasn't his fault, so he shouldn't have felt guilt. So we did different techniques as well, bit of parts therapy, where we actually removed the part for him. That part's been working for him for a long time, but we change it, and we change it in such a phenomenal way so he can walk out of this session feeling like he's walking on air. And literally walking on air he has. He's ready to fly. I've had the most extraordinary day with this wonderful client. He's ready to fly. He's not going to cancel his holiday. And I'm sure I'm getting ready, fastening my sitting back, relaxed, ready to get the next aeroplane selfie. That seems to be a trend with my fear of flyers that they keep doing for me, sending me wonderful holiday pictures. So I'm Victoria Ann Spencer-Kibble from VASK Therapy. If you've got any flight anxiety, holiday stress, reach out, ask for me.